May be seated. I wanted to share two comments from medieval biblical commentators, traditional ones. Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, who lived 1,000 years ago in the Alsace-Lorraine region of France, Germany. And Ibn Ezra, who lived 100 years later, or thereabouts, in Spain. Two comments about the beginning of chapter 2 of this morning's portion, in which we're told that everybody from the community of Israel had their own flag that they stood under, that they waved proudly in the desert as they marched in the desert to the promised land. And so Rashi and Ibn Ezra and others asked the question, what's on the flag? So the Torah doesn't tell us what's on the flag. Now, we might not care what's on the flag, but for the rabbis it made for an interesting comment and to teach an interesting lesson. If we can learn something about what's on the flag, maybe we can learn something about ourselves. So Rashi suggests that each standard had a colored flag hanging from it, and the colors were all different. Each tribe's flag was the same color as the stone representing it on the high priest's breastplate. So to try to figure out in the Torah, a hint in the Torah, as to what the flag would be, the Rashi, who's quoting Midrash, suggests, well, let's try to find a hint in the Torah that we might be able to say, oh yeah, I should have thought of that myself, that's what the flag must have looked like. So we're supposed to remember, because the entire Torah is one book, and in the time of the rabbis, everybody, educated Jews, knew the Torah by heart. So you're supposed to remember, oh yes, the high priest wore a breastplate that had 12 stones on it, each stone representing each tribe of Israel. And each stone, of course, would be a different color. So the rabbis are suggesting that must be the color of the flag for that particular tribe. So, I don't know, one tribe had ruby, and the red would be the color of their flag, etc., etc. Now, Rashi also comments on the way the tribes were situated when they around the Ohel Moed, around the Mishkan, around the portable sanctuary. And he tries to also understand, based on the Midrash, why is it that particular order for how the tribes are encamped around the Mishkan? Like, there are 3 tribes on each of the 4 sides of the Mishkan. So why is it those particular 3 tribes on each side? Why is it ordered in that way and not another way? And he says that that's the way the people, that Jacob, when he died and was brought back to the land of Israel to be buried, that's the way his sons were situated around the coffin. So just as the tribes were situated around the Mishkan, so too before that, the sons of Jacob were situated around the coffin as they were walking to and escorting Jacob to his burial place in the land of Israel. So 2 fascinating ideas about how we connect what we're reading in the Torah this morning into something that is a deeper lesson, that the flags represent the colors that are on the breastplate of Aaron the high priest, and the way they're camped around the Mishkan is the way that their ancestors, the originators of each of the tribes, were standing and walking around the patriarch Jacob's coffin. And there's one further comment from Ibn Ezra about what could have been on the flags, and he suggests that tradition says that there were 4 tribes who were the chief of each of the three that were around each side, right? We're told there's Reuben, there's Judah, there's Ephraim, and there's Dan. And then the two other tribes are on either side of each one of those. So tradition says, Ibn Ezra says, that the standards for Reuben bore the figure of a man, Judah had a lion, Ephraim had a bull, and Dan an eagle, so that they looked like the cherubs seen by the prophet Ezekiel. So the cherubs seen by the prophet Ezekiel we'll read on Wednesday morning, on the first day of Shavuot in the Haftarah. The chariot that came down from heaven that Ezekiel saw had these unusual beings situated around the chariot, and the beings had a head of a man, a head of a lion, a head of a bull, and a head of an eagle on it. So for Ibn Ezra, these flags must have been these animals, or depictions of these animals that were from God, that Ezekiel saw around the chariot. So the lessons then so bear with me as I carry this lesson forward. So we have Rashi and Ibn Ezra trying to teach people who are reading their commentaries what is the a deeper lesson that we're supposed to gain from the idea of what's on the flag. So the flag could be something about ritual, the color that was the color of the stone from the high priest's breastplate. It could be family from the community of Israel, the way their ancestors walked and were situated around Jacob's coffin as they led him to be buried back in the land of Israel. Or it could be something even more mystical and something divine, something given by God to the people, suggesting that maybe these flags were a miracle that were given to the people, that they were supposed to depict in some mystical way the presence of God in their midst. That just as on the chariot they had these unusual beings, so too in walking around the flags you had these depictions, as well as another way of suggesting that God is in their midst. All of this to say that the purpose of the flag is to provide deep meaning, inspiration, and strength to the people who are standing under their flag. It's supposed to provide a sense of inspiration, a sense of pride and confidence. And what gives us pride and confidence, if not the strength of family, the strength of Torah and ritual, the strength of God in our midst? And so, as Rashi and Ibn Ezra are saying, it is that what's on that flag that serves as the basis of our identity that should provide us the strength and comfort and inspiration. And so when we wave our flags, when we think about our Jewish identity, in this time since October 7th, I have found it to be very difficult to wave my flag proudly, because of how inundated and how much we are attacked by those who think that our flag is actually something else. That if we base Jewish identity on what the United Nations said, then we would think that we are a nation of baby killers and committers of genocide. As the United Nations just put Israel, along with Hamas, as those who kill children, and as the International Criminal Court is pursuing a case of genocide against the state of Israel, one would think that based on just the United Nations alone, that our flag is one that is drenched in blood and is immoral and unethical and the worst possible people imaginable. And that's just the United Nations. There are other groups, of course, who raise anti-Semitic tropes as well, to the extent as if the flag that they wave, suggesting who we are as a people and how terrible a people we are, as if the flag has become a mask for them, unable to see what the actual truth is. And so it's been hard to withstand the onslaught of these anti-Semitic attacks over the past weeks and months. It's been hard to be able to wave our flag that we know is based on Torah, is based on family, is based on God, to wave that flag proudly and confidently. And it's frankly not until this morning when I saw the news and how Israel's army risked life, pikuach nefesh doche Shabbat. The saving of a life outweighs the laws of Shabbat. How the Israeli army risked life to save those 4 hostages and bring them home to their families alive. That is a reason to wave our flag and to know that this is what Israel's army is all about. Even in the midst of war, in the midst of great pressure, Israel's army still stands for value, morality, and ethics. And it's for that reason that we should consistently and continuously raise our flags proudly. We continue with Musaf.